Thank you for coming. My name is Jim Logothetis. I think I've met some of you. You've seen some of me. You know my background, so I have the privilege of serving as a chairman of Leadership 100. I'm completing my second two-year term. Could not be more blessed and more pleased, and I could not be more happy and pleased to see this crowd here, all of you and a lot of you younger people. This is just absolutely fantastic. My guess is that most of you, if not all of you, have had the opportunity, either by phone or in person, to meet with the heart and soul of Leadership 100, which of course is Paulette Poulos. So I'm gonna ask Paulette to come up and make some remarks. I'll try and supplement that. It's very, very difficult to do, right?
But first I want to thank you all for joining as new members. I'm so happy to see so many young people here. I already did what I have to do. Okay, now, so first of all, let me tell you what leadership is all about. Leadership 100, I had the privilege and the blessing to serve the church for many years. I was going to be a CPA, and right out of high school, I was all set to enroll at Pace University to become a CPA. And my priest said to me, Paulette, they're looking for somebody at the Archdiocese. I said, Father, I'm religious, but I don't think that's for me. Oh, just go for an interview. So I did, and Metropolitan Silas of blessed memory interviewed me and closed the door and said, you're too qualified, you're too qualified. I said, well, I'm just gonna be a few months. I ended up being 60 years, 6-0, not 16. So that's, no, it's not about that what I have received is 100-fold more than what I've given. The Bible and the Archbishop said it this morning, you have to give back. Well, the truth is, I've tried to give back, but I've received much more than I've given. And when this all happened, I served in many departments, but it's not about me. When they started Leadership 100, the Archbishop said, you know, I'm embarrassed. I have to keep going. Archbishop Iakovos, those of you that saw the film, I'm embarrassed. I go to parishes, they have broken pipes, they have paint peeling, and I have to ask them to give money for the commitments for the church. I need somebody to help me raise money. So he said to the 6 men around the table, we are going to come up with a program. I'm a priest. You're the businessman. What would you like to do? So they said, Your Eminence, we're going to find 100 people to give $10,000 a year, and they're going to join Leadership 100. And he looked at me and said, if they can find 100 Greeks to give $10,000 a year, God can call me home. Well, they went around the country and they found, I said, Namiv Yazist, we're already up to 220, stay a while. And, you know, we were teasing him. But the truth is that this money was going to be used in a different way. The Archbishop said, I will not allow you to use it for salaries. I will not allow you to use it for building repairs. I want it to be used for ministries of the church. And I don't want the money to come in and out because I may die tomorrow and I want to know this money's used for the purpose it is. So they set up what's known as a restricted endowment program. And the only money that we were allowed to use was not the principal, but the interest. With that interest, we have distributed over $85 million. We started giving grants in 1989, and up until this year, we have given over $85 million. Now, the endowment program, and those of you that are in finances can appreciate this, with the investment committee, we now have an endowment at $110 million, which is fantastic for the church to know it's secure. Now, with the money that we have responsibilities. You heard during the course of the week, or you will hear, about our theological school. Every year I meet with the students, and every year some of them come crying. And I say, why are you crying? We're going to have lunch together and talk. Why are you crying? And their answer is, because without leadership, I couldn't sign for ordination. I said, Why? They said, the scholarship money that you gave for my 3 years of the theological school helped me so I can sign this month or next month for ordination. What can I do to say thank you? And I said, what you can do is, when you become a priest and you have a nice community, if you see somebody in the community that you think might be a prospect, give me a call and I'll do the rest. Well, as it turned out, I'm not ashamed to say that I can't take credit for all these members. A lot of these priests have helped me by calling me and say, Paulette, so-and-so is interested. Can you meet with him? Here, I just recently, we had lunch together, right? And a friend from the Alma Bank told me, he's interested. I didn't have to sell him anything. God bless him. He came because he wanted with his family, and they're here today, and they wanted to be a part of this community. And that's wonderful. It's not about the money as much as it is as bringing the young people here so that they can meet other people, not that you need them professionally, but there is a point to it. We have helped kids to get into colleges that they were on a waiting list, they never would have gotten in. I learned that from Archbishop Iakovos. I go to the top person and I tell them, this is so-and-so and so, and these kids have gotten into colleges that they never would have gotten into. So we don't use Leadership 100, but we take advantage of the benefits. This is the only organization that has stabilized, remained, and will remain for a lifetime. When the Archbishop was taking his final breaths, he said, I want you to promise me, and Dino and Vicky will know because they were part, I want you to promise me that you will take the Leadership 100. And I said, what about my CPA in accounting? He goes, do you remember when you came to me in 1965? I asked you to help me count not money, but souls. Well, you did both. You helped me count souls and you helped me count money. So now I want you to take the program and I want you to make sure that it lives on. It doesn't need my name, but I need the program to live on. And this program, if you visit Hellenic College, this is the only seminary, Greek Orthodox seminary in America. We have no other place. Those of you that have communities, and you all do, thriving communities, when you go online for communion, we see it at the cathedral. Poor Father Chrysostom, you wait 45 minutes because the line is so long. Father Nick in New Rochelle, in other churches, in Rye, if there's only one priest at the time, they wait and they wait and they wait, and that's okay. I mean, it's not that, but we should have a second priest for the youth. If you want the youth in the church, you need to have a second priest. The one at the cathedral goes to bowling. He doesn't even bowl, but he goes bowling with them. He goes here, he goes there. I said, you don't bowl. I know, but at least they see me there and I go like one of them. So my point is that leadership is the drawing factor. Leadership is the youth camps. The youth camps around the country, not everyone can go to Ionian Village because it's very costly. I went as a counselor when they first opened, and it was $365 for airfare, everything. Now it's like $6,000, so it's very costly. But we have camps all over the metropolises, and people want their kids to be with other Greek kids, even if it's just for a week. They don't just do prayer services, they don't just do poolside chats, they do fun things together, but they have a church environment. And many of these kids have sent us beautiful notes saying to Jim and I, thank you for giving me a week that I never thought I could. I even want to go. One kid, well, at St. Paul's, Father Elias says, hi, welcome, welcome. You have to leave your cell phones here. And many of the kids said, oh no, I'm not leaving my cell phone. Sorry, you can pick it up at the end of the week. And at the end of the week, that's okay, Father, keep it, I don't need it. And they leave it there. I said, you're kidding me. He goes, no. They spend a week without the cell phone, and they have such a great time, they forget all about it. So we give $30,000 to each metropolis. So that's 200, there's 8 metropolises plus the Archdiocese district. So we give $270,000 a year for the camps. So kids who want to go and they can't afford, we help there. we give $1 million a year to the theological school. And that money can only be used for the students in the theological division. They get $11,000 a semester, $22,000 a year, so we give them $66,000. It's not enough. They graduate, you get them in your communities, and they have debts of $200,000 and $300,000. And many of them are married with young children, and they call me and they say, Paulette, you helped me when I was at the school, but now I have a mortgage and I'm about to lose it, and my kids have to go to college and I don't have money. And I would always tell them, as much as we could help them, we did. But now I tell them, go have a private lunch or private dinner with your president, talk to him alone, just you and him, open your heart, tell him, and at the same time ask, could you possibly give me a loan in the community? The loan would be every month you take it out of my paycheck, and with that I can keep my mortgage. 6 priests that I've given that advice to called me to say, you not only saved my mortgage, you saved my marriage. So our priests are, many of them have gone through what they call a burned out crisis. And they're not the old ones, it's the young ones. They are burned out. So the Synod and the Archdiocese National Presbyters under Father Peter Panagos have asked for a sabbatical grant. And this grant, we gave the first one this year, $275,000. And they are taking 2 or 3 priests, 4 priests, and they are dividing the money up where they will help pay for the sabbatical, so that they will pay for the sabbatical or help the community pay for the second priest, so these priests can take 2 or 3 months and get themselves back in shape. We also have a National Presbyters clergy retreat every 2 years. And we give $55,000 per year and $15,000 to the presbyteros every 2 years when they have the conference. And this past year, there was a young priest, no, actually middle-aged priest, who went to their thing, came back, called me crying hysterical and said, can I talk with you? This priest was ready to leave the priesthood. He couldn't deal with parish councils. He couldn't deal with the stress. And he said, my wife and children do not know it. I'm here to say goodbye to my brothers, and I'm going to be leaving the priesthood and get another job. I went there because you paid for my trip, and as a result, I'm not leaving the priesthood. I'm coming back much stronger. I spent time with the Archbishop. I spent time with my brothers, and at the end I told them, I had something to tell you, but now I don't have to say it because I'm staying as a priest. To me, that's worth every dollar that we give. We give to the YAL, the Young Adult League, years ago under Archbishop Iakovos, had 2,000 kids that used to go to conferences. It was great. For some reason, they stopped it. And now Archbishop Elpidophoros has reinstated it. So we are giving $50,000 to each metropolis so that the young adult groups can have their conference to help defray some of the costs. We also give to the OCMC, Orthodox Christian Mission Center. We gave the first $1 million so that we could start IOCC, International Orthodox Christian Charities. They needed money, we gave the seed money, and today IOCC helps, and Nicole Triandafilo's here. We all heard her husband speak so eloquently today and brought us all to tears, but Nicole's brother heads the IOCC, Dean Triandafilo, and whenever there's a tragedy, an earthquake, an explosion, anything happens, a tsunami, they run, and IOCC is there to help. But all of these things take funding. And those of you that serve as parish council presidents or on the board or have anything to do with it, you know that these programs cost money. The church, people come and God bless them, they make their donation and they put in the basket and whatever. But it's not enough to sustain the priests. I remember one person, The boy went home and said, Mom, I decided not to go to Georgetown. I'm going to the theological school. They almost took the woman to the hospital. She said, you cannot do that. You can't be. And I said to her, why can't he be a priest? Why are you so upset? He's not going to make any money as a priest. I said, excuse me, is that what you care for your son? He wants you. He told you he has a calling from God. She said, yes, but Paulette, this is my son. I want him to have money. I said, don't worry about money. The church always finds a way, and the priests are doing very, very well, and they have their families, and they're happy. But it's not just about the clergy. It's not just about the presbyteros. It's not just about the theological school. We have offices at 79th Street. Vicky is the head of she's the director of the pension office, and she can attest to what I'm saying. These buildings, they're falling apart, 100 years old, and you go there, and I make my cross every time I go there because I'm afraid either the plaster's going to fall or the elevator's going to get stuck. So that's why I don't visit you too much, Vicky. But anyway, I think really seriously that we need help. This archbishop has a lot of vision. Those of you that heard him speak this morning, he's got ideas. And when we asked him, Your Eminence, he said, I want to transform the dollars that you give and put them into ministries. Education. We have so many areas that we try to help. We have religious education. We have Bishop Athenagoras who heads that. He's a one-man office. We have other offices. Vicky runs a pension for all the priests. It's just her and one person who does bookkeeping. I'm blessed to have a fantastic staff. We do national fundraising. I do the fundraising. I do the traveling together with Jim. But my staff, I have Dina, who helps handles the membership, Fran, who helps with the finances, Kay, who helps with the management and helps them. And then I have someone who works from home to do communications. But 3 full-time people plus me is not enough to do the kind of work. We need additional people. We do need additional. This whole conference is done by us. There's no coordinators. We do it. We do everything, from the food to the hotel to the reservations. But it's not about the job. We love it. And so they may get tired, but they all love it. They come with a smile and they do their work. That's what we're here for, to serve, not to be served, but to serve. But the Leadership 100 is the only program of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese that I can honestly tell you gives back. It gives back. And we're not looking, it's not about the money. Years ago when I came back, 20 years ago, Peter Pappas of blessed memory said to me, I need a favor from you. My sons who work with me in the business were members of the junior group, but somebody before you, one of the priests, stopped it. I said, why? He said, because the kids were giving $2,000 a year. I said, so what? So I named it first I called it the partners, then we called it the young professionals. And today we have over 275 young people. Now, these kids come because a lot of them go to school, a lot of them work, but they're just starting their careers, and they don't have money. It's not about the money. So they start up to 30, they give $2,000. Then up to 35 or whatever, they give $4,000. By the time they get to 40, they're giving close to the $10,000. So it all gets accumulated. It's not about the money. These kids love this conference. They're the first ones to take over the hotel. You'll watch them with the Greek dancing. You'll watch them when the hotel fills up. It's mostly rooms with the young professionals. Tomorrow night, after our Greek thing, these kids are going to take a bus and go to another place for food, for drinks, and whatever. And they're happy. They enjoy each other's pareja, and you meet other people. You can network. If someone is interested in changing a job, he meets someone or talks to someone or she meets, and the next thing you know, they're exchanging. That's what it's all about for the young people. Jim has his children, his 2 sons and his daughter. They're members. They come, and there's so many people. And yet, the other thing is that some people, I remember I had a meeting with someone, and he said to me, you know, Paulette, I want to join, but I don't have time. I can't do it this way, 10,000 a year. I said, that's okay, whatever you can give. No. He said, would you accept this? And he gives me an envelope, and it was $100,000. He said, I know we're supposed to do 10 years, 10,000 each. Is it okay if I pay 100 up front? No problem. I said, I'll even come pick it up. Don't worry about the 10 years. Please don't worry. So this is what I'm saying. It's not about when you give or how you give. It's about the fact that we have to, you'll see it, we have a program for the young little ones. Your children, now, these are little kids who are going to have their own little party here. They're going to have a chance to have food together, watch a movie together, go by the pool together. They have games in the recreation. One little kid said to me in the hall today, when do I get my ice cream? I said, what do you mean? He said, I love it here because every year I get more than one ice cream. I said, come on, I'll go buy you one. Don't tell your mother. But what I'm saying is, the truth is that these kids love it. And now this time, in addition to the young professionals, we have kids who are 13 to 17. And they don't come because there's nothing for them. They're not with the young ones, and they're not 21 to go to the place in the evening with the others. So this year, Maria Pardales and Marika decided we're going to do something different. Are you okay with having 13 to 17? I said, sure. So these kids are going to come, and they're going to be mentored. The young professionals are going to talk with them and tell them about their success stories and help them, because these kids, a lot of them are going to apply for colleges, and they want to fit in. One of the speakers that we have tomorrow is Mr. George Logothetis. No relation to Jim, but George is the head of Libra. Libra is a group that does philanthropy all over the world, all over the world. But he also has another gift. He helps young people find their profession. And when the patriarch was here, I was at a dinner, and this young woman got up, and she said, I came from Greece, couldn't speak a word of English, and I had no money. And the Libra group took me over, they brought me in, and what did they do? They paid for my education, they gave me a place to stay, and what do you think happened? I'm now a prominent pharmacist in Athens because of the Libra group. Well, this is one example, but there are other young people here who are dying tomorrow to have their afternoon dialogue with Mr. Logothetis, so he can guide them and they can ask him private questions. This is what I'm talking about, mentoring and helping. And the truth is, we have a young man that just walked in, and that happens to be Mike Manitas. Perfect timing. Mike is going to be chairing that part tomorrow in a fireside. But Mike is the product of his papu, worked at the White House. His father was a lobbyist. He took over the business, and now he's the executive director of the Hellenic Initiative, which does wonderful work to help seed programs in Greece. This is what I'm talking about product of a family. As you are today when you spoke and we all cried, I thought to myself, it's all about giving back. It's all about Mike has a family, he has children in college, but they came to us when they were little. They were so little, remember how many years ago? And now I look at these kids and they're all grown up and and I thought, wow, I got old and they got better. But the point is, these young people feel comfortable here. That's why I wanted you, those that are in the age group, to meet other people. And that's what Jim wants for his, Jim has what, how many, 9, 10 grandchildren? 10. Okay, so they're a little young, but they're going to be being pushed by Papu, and they're coming. But the point is, this program, as you look around, and you'll see we have 600 people here. 600 people came to Phoenix. And they came because we are welcoming, but we are supporting. We are a non-for-profit program, non-for-profit organization. We're an affiliate. Hi, you can come in. Hi. Of the welcome, come in. We are an affiliate of the Greek Orthodox Archdiocese, but we are also an independent non-for-profit. We're tax exempt. When you make your payments, you get your exemption. But the good thing here is that the money does not sit, as I mentioned to you, in the bank. It is transformed out and put into the hands of programs. Education, the youth that we mentioned, the religious education, all of these programs come with Leadership 100. Teo, who you're going to hear speak tomorrow, Teo has taken over a new project of overseeing all the ministries. But Teo's job, when he came, was to work with little computers. And now, he said, thanks to leadership, we've expanded. We have fears of hacking and things like that. He's got all this cyberspace. You'll hear him tomorrow. But he's taken the Archdiocese, because of our money, to the next level. He said, if leadership didn't give us the money, I couldn't do this. So before Jim takes over, I just want to tell you that whatever investment you make for leadership, feel secure that that money is being used for a good cause. If you're in New York, I invite you all to Rockefeller Center. Our offices are right next door to Radio City. We have a beautiful building on the Avenue of the Americas and 50th Street. But some of you have seen it. But what I wanted you to, the message I want to leave you with is Leadership 100 is an endowment program that gives back to its church. The 100,000 that people gave in 1984 doesn't have the same meaning. So, because 100,000 in 84 is not worth in 2026 the same. So we are looking for new venues, new avenues to get additional funds for the church. But the message that I want to leave you with is, when I mentioned about the clergy programs, the Archdiocese was in dire need of funding because the pension program had gone below, really below, and priests were very concerned. And so Leadership 100, under Jim's leadership, heard this and said, we're going to help. So we gave $1 million to assure them that we care about our priests. And with that, people started giving back and saying, oh, if leadership's giving it, it's a question of we trust our archdiocese, we love our archbishop, and we want what's best. The people that serve the church all get the same satisfaction that I do. It's not about receiving, it's about giving. I never thought my whole life would be the church, but I love it. I love what I do, and the most important thing is that you will see when next year we're going to be in Boca Raton, and when you see the activity, the people, the programs, and feel free to come forward and say, hey, I want to serve on a committee, or I want to do, we'll welcome you with open arms, but we want to thank you and let you know that we are very grateful, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the weekend. But I want to tell you before Jim comes up that tomorrow morning we have the breakfast, and after the breakfast, we will hear from Teo, who will give us a whole thing of how our money was transformed into his program in the Archdiocese. Menos, who received 400,000 years ago for the archives before he came back, and Nikki Calais took a file room and made it into something that they were teasing that in Washington, she could go in, this library could go anywhere in Washington and be received. Why? Because you can open up the computer and say, one of our men, John Piavolis, was in New York, and I took him to the archives. And he said, oh, she won't be able to find anything. She said, your family's from Warren, Ohio? What year were you serving? He said, oh, my father was there, so-and-so. She pulls up on the thing, and there's her father serving as president of the parish council. And he said, oh my God, you people keep good records. Well, it's not us. It's the money we gave. They were able to hire the right people to go out and do the job. So between the clergy, the youth, the education, the missions program, religious education, and Greek education, which really needs more, we are doing the best we can. So thank you, and we look forward to having you with us.
I'm not so sure that I can add very much because I think she covered it all as it relates to the foundation, the work that it's done, the work that it's doing, and so on and so forth. I came over, I was as an immigrant when I was 13 years old, and in Chicago. And I think about this organization and so many others as really in terms of priorities. All of us in life have priorities. Some of us make them earlier in life, some later, whatever. But it's always been my priority. Faith and Hellenism, our heritage, my heritage, are very important to me. And I made sure from the very beginning that I've shared it with our children. And so I have devoted my time, talent, and treasure since I graduated from grad school at the age of 22 until now to serving our church. And I've had the opportunity to serve from parish council all the way now to chairman of leadership, and everything in between you can imagine. And on the heritage side, I've devoted most of my time, a lot of my time, talent, and treasure in terms of Hellenic education. And so when I reflect now, going back, I'm 69 years old, and I reflect on what I've been working on and hopefully what I have accomplished, the biggest satisfaction that I have is our 3 children and their spouses, of course, take their children to our grandchildren to church every Sunday. They're very devoted. They're very involved. All 3 of them are members of leadership. 2 of them are going to be able to come, are coming. The other one is tied up with a conference, so he won't be able to come. But they're very, very connected to our faith and also very connected to our heritage. And so I've had the privilege of supporting a Greek school, a full-time Greek school in the suburbs of Chicago. We have about 150 kids in this day school, 250 kids in the Saturday and the evening school, and all 10 of my grandchildren attend that school every day. And they learn the language and they learn the heritage, and of course they learn about the faith because we have a priest who comes there for the Ayes Musa and everything else. At the end of the day, each of us make decisions, and all of us obviously strive to be successful in business or in the professions, whatever you're doing, and all of us are called upon to ask the question, so what? Okay, so we do all of that, but what are we giving back? And I hope what you heard from Paulette, obviously you're all convinced because in some ways we're preaching to the choir, right? Because you've all signed up. But I think what's also important is that you also become our ambassadors, because Paulette and her team, they're fantastic, but there's only so much that they can do. In terms of growing the organization, there's no better ambassadors than the current members. Of course, the board and the executive committee and all of that. So I hope what you get from this experience, starting with this conference, is what Paulette talked about. And there's so many valuable aspects to it. The most important, in my judgment, is the camaraderie, the family that you will be establishing. Because we need to live in a family, and our family is so important to us culturally in so many other ways, and this is what we're trying to accomplish here. And the network for personal and professional reasons is, of course, fantastic, and it's all part of the same thing. So I hope you have a wonderful conference. Make sure you meet people here. Go out of your way. Don't stick around with your own friends. This is what I tell my children all the time: meet new people and build relationships. It's all about relationships, right? Okay.
I started coming to this conference, 30 years ago with my parents as a child of, right? And then about 20 years ago, joined leadership. And I guess about 15 years ago, joined the board, and over 10 years now on the executive committee. So it's been a real blessing to see this organization evolve and grow. 1,400 members is just remarkable in this room every year, that I love to come see the faces of the new members every year. It just keeps growing, getting more vibrant, getting more geographically distributed, younger. But it's amazing. But then there's also the person who's been through it all, Paulette Poulos, who's the mainstay. And even though she is looking to move on from executive director position, as His Eminence said, we're not letting you go, keeping you here. But I think, as you've already seen, it's a remarkable organization, not in just what we do. $84 million for the ministries of the Greek Orthodox Church. It's the people, it's the parea, and it's wonderful that I've got this family. And I really noticed it during COVID. Because when we stopped gathering on an annual basis and seeing each other, I really missed the opportunity to keep those relationships fresh, to see them that this conference offers every year. So welcome to the family. It's great to have you all here. Thank you for your generosity to Leadership 100 and to the Greek Orthodox Church, and I look forward to meeting every one of you in the days ahead. Thank you.